Jump off a cliff. Yeah, I know, it's a pretty intense title, but believe me, it is the perfect way to kick off a really fascinating question we're going to dig into today, all based on some seriously thought-provoking ideas from the book, Happy Path.
Okay, let's just dive right in. I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You're looking at a set of rules, and you spot something that isn't explicitly forbidden. So does that silence automatically give you the green light? It's a classic problem in how we decide to interpret guidance.
So how does this whole loophole logic actually look in real life? Well, our source material gives us a couple of perfect examples that really frame the problem well. So let's take our first example. We've got a boy who wants to smoke, and his whole justification is pretty straightforward. He's checked the rule book, in this case the Bible, and he can't find a specific line that says, "Thou shalt not smoke." And you know what? Technically, he's not wrong about what the book doesn't say.
And that brings up a really important question. The source pushes back with this exact thought. Since when does the absence of a don't automatically create a do? Is silence really permission? It's a massive logical leap when you actually stop and think about it for a second.
And believe me, this isn't just a one-off thing. Here we go again, the exact same reasoning from a girl who wants to go see a movie. Just like the boy, she's searched for a specific rule against movie theaters, she's come up empty, and so she's concluded it must be totally fine.
So what we're really talking about here is what we can call the loophole argument. It's this whole mindset of actively searching for the gaps in the rules and then just assuming that anything that isn't specifically mentioned is automatically approved.
Okay, so if that's the argument, let's really put it to the test, right? The source material does something absolutely brilliant here. It pushes this whole idea to its most absurd and frankly dangerous conclusions, just to see if it holds up.
First up, the title of this whole discussion, Jump Off a Cliff. If we are strictly, and I mean strictly, following this loophole logic, then jumping off a cliff has got to be okay. I mean, why not? The Bible doesn't have a verse that says, "Don't jump off a cliff."
And it doesn't stop there. The absurdity keeps going. How about running into traffic? You're not going to find any ancient scriptures warning you not to chase a ball out in front of an oncoming car. So, by this logic, hey, it's fair game.
You know, this one actually comes with a little story from the source about a boy who kept getting sick. Why? Because he was trying to breathe underwater in the bathtub. His mother had never explicitly told him not to, and you can be pretty sure the good book doesn't mention it either.
Or hey, how about this one? Eating poison oak. Now the Bible does name certain foods you should probably avoid, but guess what's not on the list? Poison oak. So does that make it some kind of undiscovered delicacy? Yeah, I think we all know the answer to that one.
What's so interesting about all this is how it just blows the lid off a huge misunderstanding of how guidance is supposed to work. I mean, no guidebook for life could ever possibly list every single thing you shouldn't do. Trying to rely on a list like that isn't just silly, it's dangerous because it asks you to turn off the most important tool you have, your own common sense.
Okay, so if that whole loophole logic is, well, just plain wrong, then what's the right way to think about this? Well, the source offers a super simple but really powerful analogy that just illustrates the answer perfectly.
Let's totally reframe how we think about a guidebook like the Bible. Is it really supposed to be this huge, exhaustive list of things to avoid? Or is it maybe more like a box of cake mix, a recipe with a list of things you should do to get an amazing result? Seriously, just picture a box of cake mix. It is completely focused on the positive outcome. Right on the front, it shows you a picture of the incredible cake you're about to make. On the back, it gives you a clear recipe. And the promise is simple. You follow these steps, you are going to get the result you see on the box.
And here's the absolute genius of it. The box focuses on the recipe for success, not the 1,000 different ways you could mess it up. It doesn't say, don't add onions, or, hey, don't throw in a handful of pickles, because it trusts you to use a little common sense and just focus on the positive instructions.
Okay, so let's take this simple, brilliant cake mix idea and bring it right back to our original problem of how to approach guidance for living a good life. When you look at it this way, the Bible isn't a list of things you can't do, it's a recipe. Step 1, it shows you the goal, right? A good, successful life. Step 2, it gives you the directions, the positive things to do, the principles to follow. And step 3, the result is that you actually achieve that goal. You become good and strong and successful.
And what this all boils down to is something the source calls the law of common sense. It's all about making that shift in your thinking. You stop asking, does it say I can't? And you start asking, does this actually help me achieve the positive goal? It's about following the recipe, not trying to find an excuse to add onions to your cake batter.
So the next time somebody hits you with that flawed, well, it doesn't say I can't logic, what do you say to them?
Well, you gotta love this. The source material offers a pretty witty and very memorable comeback. You can just turn their own logic right back on them. I mean, after all, if they're only relying on a list of don'ts, I'm pretty sure jumping in a lake isn't on it.
And that really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. This whole discussion boils down to a fundamental choice. Are we going to spend all our energy carefully tiptoeing around a list of forbidden things, or are we going to be actively and joyfully following a recipe for something wonderful? The choice, really, is yours.